Lovely day in South Ozone Park, Queens, a Sunday in the big city. It is Aqueduct Racetrack. It is Aqueduct Insider. You've got it locked on MSG+. It's Jason Blewitt, Richard Migliore alongside our second-floor clubhouse studios at the Big A, 6 days out from the Grade 1 Cigar Mile this coming Saturday.
And just one of my favorite weekends of the entire New York racing season, our final Grade 1. But the whole build-up to it with the Fall Highway on Thursday, the stakes on Friday, right into Cigar Mile. It's been a great season, a good way to kind of put the exclamation point on it.
Couldn't agree more. National Racing Report, 6 p.m. Monday and Tuesday. Andy was off Sunday, so it's just you and I, but a complete Holiday Fest preview. All the stakes to be run on Saturday's card. You're not going to want to miss that. And Grade 1s galore throughout the country. Not only will Aqueduct put its best foot forward, the eyes of the racing world will be tuning into Del Mar late Saturday afternoon when the Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner California Chrome runs for the first time ever on turf in the Hollywood Derby.
Yeah, and I applaud them for stepping out, doing something different. It's a bit of a sporting gesture, and I think those owners still have damage control after the fallout from post-Belmont Stakes quotes. But he worked this morning, a half in 52. Doesn't really speak volumes about his ability on the turf. He's a horse that could actually gallop faster than that normally. And I know they probably didn't want anything fancy, but 52, what does that tell you?
And that's a glib turf course out there. I mean, 7 horses breezed a half out at Del Mar today on the turf. Kagan, who's an accomplished older turf runner and maybe a cut below some of the better milers in the U.S., got the bullet with a half in 46 and 4. And then you have California Chrome at the other end of the spectrum going 52. It certainly raises my eyebrow a bit going into the Hollywood Derby.
I think the best way to put it, it certainly doesn't instill confidence in his turf ability. Here's a horse that could work faster in his sleep. I've never seen him go that slow. Was it that he didn't like it? Did they have him under a stranglehold? And what did you learn? Even if you were keeping him to go that slow, what did you learn going a half in 52?
Time will tell. We don't have to wait that long. Del Mar Saturday will be interesting. Well, the same can be said for Aqueduct this coming Wednesday. They got up. It was a 10-horse field in race number 9. They got up to the nightcap. 5 were covered. 5 were not. Humboldt and Frost took to the turf like a duck to water, would not be denied, and a pick-6 carryover ×2 into Wednesday's card. Did you start studying yet?
I think I'm going to wait, and if it carries over to Thanksgiving Day, I'm all in.
You're all in?
I'm actually going to bug you, and you and I are going to be partners.
We'll take the rubber band off. You bring a wad of cash, I'll do the same, and we are all in with that pick-6. But start studying. We've got a couple of dark days. Those past performances are out. In fact, we are drawn here through Aqueduct, or at Aqueduct, through Friday. We'll have 10 races on Friday's card at early post time beginning at noon. We do have to get to today's action. We ran 9 races. Race number 4 was actually the start of the big pick-6 carryover. Big field, 3 and up, Filly Mare Maidens, a late scratch in the paddock of the 5 Angel Choir. And here's Travis Stone with the call.
Vale Ridge both came together after the start. Vale Ridge out to the back of the pack. Toward the inside, Miss Leck races out to grab the lead. Garzoni running in second. Here comes Kerry Bell on the far outside with Rather Beautiful. So those 4 bias the first time in what is a pretty tight group up top. Garzoni to the inside, and here's Kerry Bell outside. So those 2 step on with it together. Rather Beautiful defers back to be 3rd. Miss Leck toward the inside with a good spot running in 4th. Trophy's away 5th in behind that first flight. Silverama's on the far outside in 6th. And then it's Sylvia T toward the inside running in 7th. Strum just ahead of Vale Ridge as the field heads for the backstretch run, where Kerry Bell has opened up now. Kerry Bell opens up with a 5-length lead for the backstretch. First quarter's on the board in just 25 seconds flat. So down the backstretch they go. Kerry Bell well clear. Rather Beautiful up into second now. Garzoni toward the inside in 3rd. Trophy has been moved to the outside, racing 4th into the bit there for Johnny Velasquez. 3 or 4 paths off the rail. Then it's Miss Leck running in 5th in behind horses, followed by Silverama, Sylvia T, Strum, and at the back is still Vale Ridge. So the field heads for the far turn, and Kerry Bell is still up top and is still with a 2-length lead. Rather Beautiful summoned up for more speed, still running in second. Trophy has moved into 3rd on the outside now. Trophy is getting going, gaining ground on the far outside. Miss Leck is following that move, and Sylvia T is following her. In the meantime, Kerry Bell cuts the corner off the turn and holds on to a 2-length lead. But Trophy is getting on track. Trophy has moved into second. Rather Beautiful back in 3rd. Miss Leck is 4th, furlong out. Kerry Bell still with a 2.5 3.5 length lead. Trophy is fully extended, but is still with 2 lengths to make up in the final 16th. Carrie Bell is holding on. Carrie Bell takes them all the way. Start to finish winner. Trophy second by 3. Miss Luck was third and Rather Beautiful fourth.
A huge first half to the Sunday card at Aqueduct for jockey Manuel Franco. 3 wins in the first 4 races, and the biggest price with Carrie Bell, who loved the turf. Boy, oh boy, you'd like to see California Chrome take to the turf like she just did in the 4th.
Yeah, she really took to it. Her stride was absolutely beautiful, covering so much ground. Now, she got to go very soft on the lead, very soft fractions, but she was always in the bridle, and I love the way she ran through the wire, and I think this filly's got a future on the grass.
John Sheriff's fall has been his time. History has repeated itself thus far in this newly begun Aqueduct Fall meet, because John was nearly unbeatable at this time a year ago, and the same can be said. I think he's got 5 wins from 13 starters, and Filly by Empire Maker, owned by the Mosses, got the job done. Now, 50 days after Trev won back-to-back Arc de Triomphes over in Europe, her younger half-sister Trophy was odds-on. She was second best for Christophe Comont.
The second best the way the race was run. I mean, very slow pace, and she was covered up, and she did finish well. The only other horse that I thought was really running through the wire, just too much of an edge to Carrie Bell galloping along on the lead like that. And Manny Franco has really, really come on, and you can see his confidence level and how he's blossoming as a rider.
We'll look for 4 in the afternoon as we get to Sunday's 5th race. Travis Stone with the call. Leg number 2 in the big pick 6. Best of luck as we send it back from the gate.
The gate. And they're off. Sonora from that outside post breaks very fast. She's All Even does too and races through toward the inside to take the lead. Barrel of Dreams comes on to be second. Sonora's out in third. Mark the Sky comes away in fourth. Miss Vide punching through toward the inside up into fifth. Camille Storm running in sixth. Sweet Cherokee is seventh. Madu is eighth by 3. Then it's Downtown Alley ninth and toward the rail. Non Felice Mai on the far outside about 9 or 10 lengths off the lead. Then it's Moondance Joy and 5 back to Beating Heart Baby as they round the far turn now. 22 and 3 was the quarter. She's All Even pressed hard by the big favorite Sonora on the outside, and these two knocking head midway round the far turn. 3 lengths back to Barrel of Dreams trying to keep up running in third. Mark the Sky toward the inside is advancing from fourth. Camille Storm's going the wrong way. Non Felice Mai comes wide off the turn, and so too does Moondance Joy. They're at the top of the stretch, and Sonora has taken the lead. She's All Even couldn't keep up. Mark the Sky plugging away in third. Non Felice Mai on the outside, and farther out is Moondance Joy, but Sonora's got a 3.5 length lead down to the final 16th, and it is Sonora finishing up well, winning this race by 4 lengths on the wire. Non Felice Mai comes up for second. Mark the Sky was third. Moondance Joy fourth.
She looked like the free bingo square in today's pick 6. If she got in off the AE list, Sonora, she was going to be tough to beat. 320 at 3 to 5.
I like that. That was good the way you came up with that free bingo square. She certainly was. Had every advantage. The best horse, outside post, going to get in the race the right way. And we were talking off camera. Her mother, Road to Mandalay, she's been a pretty prolific broodmare.
Golden Roses, Groupthink, there's been a whole bunch of multiple New York bred winners in the family. And by the way, this filly is a daughter of Discreetly Mine, who is the sire. And we talked about him on the Racing Report with Classy Class, who will try to stretch out and go long in the Remsen for Kieran McLaughlin.
Yeah, what's interesting, too, I talked to Kieran about it this morning, and he said, you know, he was taking a chance. He thinks the horse ability-wise belongs, but it is a big step up. He acknowledged going from 6.5 in a maiden race to a 2-turn graded stake is a big jump, but the horse has shown him a lot. And he actually worked in company with his other Remsen candidate, Frosted, this morning, and he likes Frosted a little bit more just because of that extra foundation.
Eddie Keneally getting back to Sonora, the winning trainer. Javier Castellano just had to point her in the right direction, and our direction. Quick timeout on MSG+. We've got a lot coming your way. A look back at Sunday, a look back at the week, including Honor Code and some turf, so stay tuned. All the bases are covered on Monday and Tuesday's National Racing Report on MSG+, 6 p.m. on this channel. We look back at the weekend, some big turf stakes throughout the country, Gulfstream Park West, the Cardinal at Churchill Downs. We certainly spent quite a bit of time talking about Honor Code, and again, as I mentioned at the top of tonight's show, a complete Holiday Fest preview. We'll talk about Honor Code a bit later in the show. Have you gotten over, though, that return here Saturday?
I really haven't. Honor Code's return was a throwback to me of the glory years of racing in the 70s when I was just learning and falling in love with the game, seeing some of those great horses like Forgo roar down the middle of the track in their return. It was very much a throwback moment for me.
Good ones leave you wanting more, and that's the story with Honor Code coming out of the weekend. And Thanksgiving, we want you out here. This is a terrific tradition at the Big A, a live racing card at Aqueduct. The early start, the early finish, 11:25, the first post. Last live race, 3:10 p.m. Plenty of time to get home, and a very history-rich feature on Thanksgiving Day.
The Fall Highway, always a great race, and I like that. You come out, by the time you get home, you've built up an appetite, you walk in, and it's turkey time.
Little football, little turkey time with the family, good stuff, and Black Friday and Cigar Mile Day, noon posts on both those days. 10 race cards, daylight obviously an issue at this time of the year. We'll have the Go for Juan, by the way, on Friday, nearly a handful of graded stakes on Saturday, and a dozen actually entered in the Go for Juan, Meg. Good to see these stakes coming up with big fields.
Well, and they should. I mean, they got huge purses. I mean, if you want to compete for real money, you've got to be here in New York, and these races are carrying a lot of weight. Even though usually by this time of year a lot of championships are decided, there are still some up for grabs, and certainly a lot of money still up for grabs.
Yeah, $300K in both the Fall Highway and the Go for Juan. That doesn't even take into account Saturday's action. As we get back to Sunday's action, 3 turns, 11 furlongs, Travis Stone, and the Sunday feature in race 7.
Outside, and between those two, Make a Decision gets a forward spot for the run into the first of 3 turns. Village Warrior comes on to take the lead now. So it is Village Warrior opening up on Are We Not Men, who's pulled back to be second, just ahead of Make a Decision, who comes away in third by 2. Then it's Request on hold on the outside in fourth of Crown Like Good, who's right there to the rail running in fifth. Social Affairs drafting in behind them in sixth. Innovation Economy, and at the back it's Bishop's Castle. So into the home stretch for the first of the 2 times. Village Warrior coasting up top. 2-length lead, not challenged yet the first quarter in a pokey 25 2/5 seconds. Are We Not Men is content back in second. Make a Decision running in third. Social Affair moves up on the outside fourth, tucking just a bit at Javier Castellano. Then it's Crown That Good toward the inside running in fifth. Request is sixth. Bishop's Castle's now seventh. Innovation Economy has dropped back to trail the field. So suddenly up top, things get a bit more interesting for the run into the second turn. Village Warrior had a clear lead earlier, but now Are We Not Men is going to come on to put some pressure on. But with that, Village Warrior opens back up. Make a Decision 3 wide around that second turn, while Social Affair backed out and angled over to the inside to save some ground back in fourth. And then it's Crown That Good running in fifth. Innovation Economy started to make some progress sixth. Bishop's Castle and Request now is back trailing. Midway down the backstretch run, the first half was 52 4/5 seconds, 3 quarters and 18 flat. So Village Warrior continues up top on the lead and heads for the far turn, pushed on for just a bit more speed now. Are We Not Men running in second? Make a Decision 3 wide to the outside third. Bishop's Castle 4 wide. Revving up on the far outside. Crown Like Good is set to strike, tucked away toward the rail. Innovation Economy is right there in the thick of things. Social Affair, and at the back it's Request, but only about 2.5 lengths from top to bottom as they race for the top of the stretch, where Make a Decision has taken over the lead. Are We Not Men down inside. Bishop's Castle, Innovation Economy with a good move on the far turn is in contention on the outside. Crown That Good is stuck in behind horses, and then it's Request as they race for the final 16th. Innovation Economy comes storming up to take charge. Innovation Economy opening up on Crown That Good, Make a Decision, and everybody else. Innovation Economy full of run to the wire. 5 lengths in the end. Crown That Good was second, Make a Decision was third, and Request was fourth.
They bet nearly everybody. Favorite was around 3-1, 7-2. The 8-horse Make a Decision in the black. But, I mean, this turned into a 1-horse race, Richie. Innovation Economy by himself.
Well, it really did. I mean, he finished the deal. His last eighth in 12 seconds over a less than firm turf course. He was the horse that was really running through the finish. I'll give some credit to the runner-up, Crown That Good, who had to wait for room, and he kind of finished all right. But this horse finished like he had just broken off at the 8th pole. This was pretty impressive.
3-year-old son of Dynaformer, out of a Gone West mare. What does it say for a 3-year-old with that pedigree late in the season to take a step forward?
Well, I think it bodes well for him going forward because they found he likes these marathon distances, which many of the Dynaformers do. As a matter of fact, it was a Dynaformer exacta. So, you know they're long-winded, and I think going forward, this is a good race for them to step off with the end of the season and point towards those marathons next year.
Moving right along here on Aqueduct Insider is race number 8, second and final leg in the pick 6. We wrapped up the action on the main track, New York-bred fillies and mares, as we go back to Travis Stone.
All Love Me broke out well, but My Girl Madison finding stride quick, and here comes Brad Ruby to that one's inside. Those two go head-to-head early on. Sharifa comes away third. All Love Me's back to fourth. Miss Sylvia A. fifth and at the inside, and Court Dancer is the last of the 6. Up the backstretch, 5 furlongs to go. Brad Ruby down inside of My Girl Madison. These two hooking up early on. It's Brad Ruby at the rail. My Girl Madison seconded outside with Miss Sylvia A. getting a bit closer, third and on the inside. Then it's Sharifa running in fourth. All of Me fifth. Court Dancer sixth. Taking closer order, though, as they round the far turn after a quarter in 23 and 2/5 seconds. My Girl Madison continues to knock heads with Brad's Ruby. Sharifa's getting closer 3 wide. Court Dancer's getting closer 4 wide. Miss Sylvia A. is locked and loaded with nowhere to go in behind in fifth. All of Me is under a drive running in sixth. So they come off the turn. They're stacked across the track. Sharifa comes away with a narrow lead. Court Dancer on the outside comes after Sharifa. The others give it up. Miss Sylvia A. is getting on track on the far outside. Here's the 8th pole. Sharifa's in front. Court Dancer second. Miss Sylvia A. is wandering about the racetrack but continues to gain ground. Here comes Miss Sylvia A. on the outside. Sharifa fighting on at the rail, but with the momentum, Miss Sylvia A. takes it right before the wire and wins by half a length. Sharifa was second. Court Dancer was third. All Love Me came out of before.
It was close. Larry Mejias was trapped in traffic, finally able to extricate Miss Sylvia A. out. She comes 3 or 4 wide and picks everybody off right at the wire.
Miss Sylvia A. was impressive. She was full of run early, running up on heels. Looked like her saddle may have slipped. She ran down the leaders when she had to angle out. She kind of raced erratically, running away from the whip and then running in from the whip. And the stewards, there was an inquiry. The stewards made the right call by leaving this official. He didn't cost anybody a placing, but Larry needed to be a little more careful because as we'll watch it, you'll see he's going to go left-handed. He's on the outside with the light blue cap, white silks. He pulls a stick to his left hand. He goes at Miss Sylvia A. left-handed. She drifts pretty drastically here. He straightens her up. You can see him break his rein over, point her back in. He's going to switch back to his right hand. Now when he goes right-handed, Jason, she's going to start to run away from the whip and go towards the inside. He didn't need to hit her again. She was going to get there at this point, but now when he goes back to the whip, she's going to come in and take the ground of the eventual third-place finisher with Joel Rosario, and that is Court Dancer. But Court Dancer was a beaten horse at that point. She was going to be third. It didn't cost her a placing. Unlike the situation yesterday where the horse that was bothered in the turf race got beat a nose for third and would have been third if she didn't get shut off, and therefore it cost her placing. The stewards made the right call here, but they should talk to Larry Mejias, who I'm sure is excited, hasn't gotten a lot of great opportunities lately. Should have taken a little bit more care and maybe not gone back to the whip.
We'll see if he stays maybe a fine there, but regardless, Miss Sylvia A. keeps it going for Michelle Nevin. We talked about Michelle on the Racing Report as well. A good weekend when you consider this performance from this filly by First Defense and even read the byline yesterday.
Yeah, a terrific weekend. All the horses are running well, and a diversified group of clients. We saw Vinny Scuderi yesterday, and of course today this group. Miss Sylvia A., though, she was good. She was very good.
Well, Travis Stone's been very good as well. We send it back for the calls of races 1, 2, 3, 6, and 9 on this 4th Sunday of the meet.
For the stretch drive, top of the stretch, and whatever you want's in front of length and a half. Opoji Ponji's been trying to get by. Mr. Amos is now third on the outside. The rest with too much to do. They're all strung out as they head for the final 16th. Whatever you want with plenty left for the stretch drive, and it's opening up as they come for the line. Whatever you want by 4 in the opener. Opoji Bonzi, Mr. Amos, and Gypsum Johnny. So puts a nose in front off the turn. Shot to win inside second. Indian Nobility's wide trip continues into the stretch, closing in on the far outside. Horatio is there too. Furlong to go. Here's Indian Nobility on the outside up for the lead. Horatio fighting Indian Nobility. In the meantime, Awesome Heart has found stride. Awesome Heart is closing on the far outside. Racing for the wire. Horatio, Indian Nobility. Here's Awesome Heart. Here's the line. Photo finish. tight on the line. Very tight. They come for the top of the stretch. Blue Ballerina is going to try and squeeze through toward the rail. My Tea Time on the far outside. And Sweet Sway fighting on between those two. Sweet Sway inside. My Tea Time outside. My Tea Time trying to change over. On the outside, puts a nose in front and is now starting to edge away from Sweet Sway. Midnight in Positano and Blue Ballerina and all the rest as they come for the line. My Tea Time, a 2.5 length winner. Sweet Sway, Midnight in Positano, Perling, and Blue Ballerina. Off the turn, does not grow on trees down inside, gives it up to Mary DeMichael, has taken over. Quit Smoking made a move on the far turn, and so did Peach Lake. Peach Lake was third and is now second and is coming after Mary DeMichael. Farther back is Geraldine down to the final 16th. Mary DeMichael, tenuous lead as Peach Lake continues to close, but Mary DeMichael with something left for the final 50 yards and turns back the bit of Peach Lake. Mary DeMichael, the 2-length winner. Peach Lake built in a day from nowhere to be third, and Quit Smoking fourth. The stretch, Humboldt and Frost is still in front. Mr. Harlan has been second as they come off the turn. Jack's Heritage is down inside and fighting on, and Sequana made a good move and is in contention too. Furlong to go. Humboldt and Frost in front. Jack's Heritage in a bit tight toward the inside second. Sequana, Mr. Harlan, and Cliffs of Dover 16th out. Humboldt and Frost 2-length lead. Jack's Heritage, Sequana. Humboldt and Frost is gonna go coast to coast. Humboldt and Frost all the way on the lead. Jack's Heritage was second. Sequana was third.
We talked about the last leg of the pick six. Humboldt and Frost not covered. But people that backed that horse, and a gelding by Big Brown who made his turf debut a winning one, had to sweat out a steward's inquiry and a jockey's objection. Let's check it out. And it's pretty interesting as I send it to you because they're running by the portable rail, Mig.
Yeah, and there is extra space, kind of breaks away from there. Now, you can see Luis Saez is guiding his horse over to make it tough on the one horse, Jack's Heritage. And as a rider, especially on a young 2-year-old, and Manny Franco's on this horse, you don't know how your horse is going to react, especially with that extra space in the gap there. And I think he started steadying before he actually got bothered because it's a dicey situation. Now, I agree with the call. It shouldn't have come down. But I also understand why Manny Franco had to be somewhat tentative in that situation. You put a young horse in close quarters like that, and he decides he's taking the easy way out, which is empty space. You're going to crash through the gap.
Theoretically, everything worked out okay. Jack's Heritage actually got outside and re-rallied and was really fighting and really stubborn first time out for Mark Hennig. A very good effort with that firster by More Than Ready. But theoretically, what does a race and a performance like this with Jack's Heritage do going forward in his career?
Well, I actually think it benefits him for a career. I mean, obviously it's disappointing because maybe he was the best horse today. Maybe not. You know, let's give the winner some credit too. But I think being in tight and having to learn things for a career, he's going to be a better horse for it because he had to see a lot more situations today than normal.
Big range in situations regarding the age of jockeys winning today at the Big A. Manny Franco won 3, nearly won 4 with Jack's Heritage, Israel Rodriguez. And how about the old native from Brooklyn, not far from your old neighborhood, CeCe Lopez getting it done in race 5.
Yeah, good to see Chucky in the winner's circle. And Israel Rodriguez, another great ride, strong finish down the middle of the track to get up and win by a nose. But all due respect to Chucky, the combined ages of Manny Franco and Israel Rodriguez don't add up to Chucky's age, but Chucky can still get it done.
I was going to say, he still looks good on a horse,
Absolutely.
man. Knuckling down Cousin Michael or Michael and me in race number 5 for trainer Bruce Brown, who walked away with the trading double. We like CC, and he certainly understands the power of early speed, much like you did in your riding days.
Oh, yeah, and he's a terrific gate rider, and you know, CC's a friend of mine. I like Chucky a lot, so I'm teasing him about his age, but he can still ride.
One cool cat. Claims on the afternoon, race 1 popular, race 2 popular, and they were wheeling and dealing, my friend, in the racing office.
Well, a lot of action going on in the racing office, and people are absolutely, I think, loading up for winter time, getting ready for the inner track. It might get cold outside, but it's always hot in the winter circle.
Absolutely. And Chad Brown taking one from Belterra Park, a second-time starter for David Jacobson who would run at Belterra. We're not going to Belterra. We're staying right here on MSG Plus, but we're going back to Honor Code on Saturday, so stay with us. Live money handicapping contest, a busy November, whether you were talking about the Breeders' Cup, the Fall Handicapping Challenge last weekend, and of course this contest, $300 buy-in with the live money on Cigar Mile Day. One more reason to join us at the Big A. First race post 12 noon on Saturday. The week's top performers, no surprise, honor code, here he comes. He leads it off with the 106 buyer.
You think about driving a car in heavy traffic and you've got a lot of car underneath and you want to get by some other traffic. That's what it looked like. Javier Castellano was just kind of coming down the service road on the conduit as he steered through traffic.
Picking up speed, too.
Well, and he had a lot of horsepower underneath him. That was as good a performance as you're going to see, and I just really got a kick out of it.
Well, we look forward to him in 2015. And what about the lightly raced Street Babe who turned some heads? Thursday's first race, far back, was as far as 15 or so off the lead, swept to the lead, and a good-looking win in his debut for Michael Dilger.
Really good-looking debut, and you like to see horses take the kickback, make the run, and this horse was able to make a long, sustained run and continue, so it speaks a lot to the fitness level that Michael Dilger had put in this horse, and you got to like it. I think you're going to see some good things going forward.
An 87 buyer, won at a mile first time out, not an easy distance to get your debut at. Anstu Stables and Michael Dilger, and I know I could speak for you, Richie. I couldn't live with myself if we didn't include one of these hard-knocking, cheap claimers. And Social Sol's one of the top performers of the week, runs for 12.5, 12.5, and 10,000, and 12.5 at his last four wins in 31 days.
You got to love it. He's just a blue-collar horse, shows up to work every day, brings his lunch pail, doesn't shirk his responsibilities, and these are the meat and potatoes, the heart and soul of thoroughbred racing.
He's punching for some overtime. He's just terrific. David Jacobson has just jammed him back in for the bottom claiming tag. Nobody takes him. He goes out there, shows up, and gets it done. I love Social Sol. We get back to Javier Castellano, who was driving in rush hour traffic and didn't cause an accident. Somehow got through it with honor code, and a guy who's banked about $24 million plus in purses. What about Javier?
Well on his way to his second Eclipse Award, his consecutive second Eclipse Award, and just riding in career form. What can you say, really?
Yeah, you say he's got no flaws, no weaknesses in his game, and coming from you, that is about as big accomplishment or compliment you could get. Cornelio Velasquez, the top rider, but Erod, we've seen this time and time again, every single meet. He has made it awfully close coming into Holiday Fest. Trainers, Rudy Rodriguez, 3 wins this week. Vicky's Dancer won the Staten Island.
Yeah, Rudy's definitely hitting his stride, and he's cutting into the margin with David Jacobson as well. So Rudy, consistently good all year long.
And wins with almost every kind of horse. And he'll look for his 4th grade one next Saturday on the year with Condo Commando in the Demoiselle, or I should say major graded stakes win with Condo Commando, the Demoiselle grade 2. But Rudy's had a big year. David Jacobson's 17-10 in the trainer standings. And we say goodnight. We are out of time. The buzzer has sounded. That was not the smoothest ending I've ever had on this show, but you know what?
Well,
this was fun nonetheless.
You got to get to the Garden for the Ranger game.
Rangers, Canadians. Let's go Rangers. Big and I, well, we'll be with all of you Wednesday on this show. Don't forget the Racing Report, and have a great couple of dark days. Study up for that pick 6.